Hello everyone. How are you all doing?
Yeah. I'm good, Prasad. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir.
So I was doing a couple of articles on my take on social media, how I use it, and also how I don't have any problems from it, and also how I help other people who have problems from the social media, you know, uh, indulgence, right? So,
That's a great idea.
yeah, I'm bringing in the spirituality into that, that's why it becomes more relevant to people. And also, why we have become so neurotic, so attention deficit culture, all over the world, right? So that's what I was hoping to share with you. What do you think? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's the most pressing thing nowadays. Everybody needs this digital detoxification.
Yeah.
So overwhelming.
Yeah.
And ChatGPT and other things also made this thing more impactful in a other dimension.
Yeah.
Having going through all these things already.
Yeah.
So,
But ChatGPT is a great tool for me, and really enjoy it, and also getting a lot of benefit from it. So that's also part of the how we use the artificial intelligence. But the social media itself is like we are relating to people through the social media, right? So we are not as much personal with people as we used to be. So that is something breeding its own problems. So that's what I want to bring it to everybody's attention. I see a lot of people who are really stressed out, burned out, right? And that's why they reach out to me for some kind of discussion, understanding, or clarity, whatever, right? That is already always happening. And also, we see a lot of people problems with focus, problems with deficit of attention. You know, uh, in spirituality and meditation and all those practices, attention is very important, right? So that is a fundamental thing. I'm always um, getting in touch with people because they may come and say, I feel lousy. I don't feel enthusiasm for my profession, the doctors, right? And also, people say, I don't have any guest for my work, and I lost all the enthusiasm, and I really feel lonely. I suicidal, any number of things like that, right? Is social media responsible for all of that, or is it aggravating it? That is the thing that I was looking at. And it seems we kind of use it without really knowing what's going to happen. So people are really kind of say, okay, I use it, but I don't know how I got sucked into it, and how it has become my children and my young people, they cannot leave the phone. They're always occupied. So it's like an addiction, right? I'm sure you're looking at that too. So it's a question of paying attention to a tool that's not going to go anywhere, but at the same time, it's going to be there. It's going to be engulfing us, and if you don't pay attention and how to use it, probably you will become real problem with your mind, with your mood, and with your focus and attention and all that. So I want to bring in some of the principles of the ancients who didn't have to deal with this information explosion didn't have to deal with a lot of facts and figures and on a continuous 24 hours, 360 days, so tremendous explosion of information, and also how to not to enjoy one of the natural states of ours, which is stillness of mind. People think they have to do so much mindfulness, meditation, and all that, and then they will be able to really be calm for a while. But they cannot really much calm because they're always dealing with the data, always dealing with something happened in the past or something happened in the future, right? So that's why I thought we should bring in here what we really see, so that's why I brought this one, and hopefully that makes sense, because there are a lot of people um, that are really doing this, which is okay. I'm just starting some channel because other people will come there too. That's why I'm kind of taking a little bit break. So welcome, Janet, Cecilia, Andre, and the new wife, and Prasad on the WhatsApp, my sister Rohini Sharmi. Thank you for joining me. And see, when I was looking at it, I knew that ancient, at least the cream of the crop, the people who were epitomizing the best of that cultures, the ancient cultures, what did they do? How did they have this quiet mind? How did they get into this blissful inner nature, happiness, and all that? So when I looked at that, there are some things that we could do. I myself, I tell you all the time, I spend my time not in memories, not in future projections, but in the present moment awareness. PMA, I call it, right? And that is a fact of life. If I could do it, anybody else can do it too. That's my point of view. Okay. So I come up with some particular features of the ancient rishis and yogis. And I say, why we can't do the 5 principles that I'm pointing out here? How can you be silent? Okay. How can you turn inward and look at what's going on? How can you reflect and not react? And how can you perceive what is without the data and all that? As the life presents whatever it is, why can't you live? And also, why are you not in touch with the divinity that is within? So these 5 principles: silence, turning inward, antarmukha, reflecting, not reacting, perceiving what is in front of us, and grace with it. These 5 principles, I want to show it to you how they can be very useful for you. Okay. So, for example, we come to the silence in the storm. What is happening out there? The challenge today is there's a lot of noise of social media. Okay. Not that it is your major thing, that is your important purpose of life, that is what you want to do in life, but then a lot of noises, things go on. People get attracted just by seeing that and spend time like that, right? So that is there. So we have comparisons on the social media, and we have basically endless chatter, going to room, and don't have particular purpose. They may have purpose, but they also get sucked into the things that may not really need it. Okay. So we want to bring in the wisdom lens of how can we practice short moments of silence. Okay, you can do that before tasks, between tasks, and also before you go to rest and sleep. After you took a big walk or something, or during the walk, you can engage yourself to be silent within yourself. Okay, I will show you. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of different ways, but the one way that is really guarantees that you are in silent mind is don't be in the mind. Watch the mind as the observer, as the witness, as the Sakshi Buddha. That is what they said. And then they were always witnessing the thoughts, not indulging in them or not suppressing them. Okay, that's what we do in the morning report, right? Observe your thoughts as the witness. Okay, that's what we are going to do. So, what happens then is the stillness gives you clarity because you are not going to different things with attention. You can pay attention to what is happening. So, silence in the storm of information overload. Too many things, right? We don't want that. Okay. And then, second thing is, how can we turn inward? The challenge of today is you always want to validation outside. Can you get off of that? That's the challenge, right? We want likes, we want comments appreciating us or approving us, or even the grades system in the school is what is think about seeking validation from outside, right? See, the sages say you turn inward. Don't let your intellect and senses drive you out all the time, which we are doing. But stop it and then turn the mind inward. You know, look at what's going on within you, or what kind of thinking is happening because of your conditioning, or you don't really focus it and you let it go wherever you want to go. You know, that we don't want to do, right? So, but when you turn inward and observe the thoughts, thought come to really nail at only consciously you want to think. That means you are in awareness. So turning inward leads you to that, where they say you are alert, awake, and really in touch with what is going on without thoughts overwhelming you. So you are not looking for the applause from outside, but you are landing in the awareness. So basically, they said happiness is inside. That has to be uncovered. We think happiness is out there somewhere in activity, somewhere in accumulation, somewhere in enjoying something. They are all fine, but don't look for happiness there because happiness is within you. That's why you got to turn inward to discover. We'll go details into that. Okay. So number one was silence. Number two was turning inward. Number three, see how many people are spending time to take time to reflect on things, to consider things, to understand what's going on and how we are doing stuff in life, right? We don't reflect on them. We react to them. Okay. So the challenge today in social media is it gives you anxiety, depression to a lot of people. You know, people read stories, news items, and they get very stressed out. Some of the political things are there too. And then there is a peer pressure. People want you to say this way. People want you to resonate this way, say things this way, and all that. That's the peer pressure. And also, there are a lot of emotional triggers come from social media, postings and comments and likes and all that, right? So you don't want those to be giving nidus for you to react, but you react even without knowing. That means you are engaging your emotional centers, which is fundamental, rather than your prefrontal cortex. Deep breathing really helps you to bring in that into place too. Okay. And so the wisdom here is ancient said viveka, discernment. Okay. Anything happens, don't react, but pause before reacting. And then reflect. That reflection brings understanding of what is temporary, what is permanent, what is good, what is bad, what is good in the long run. That is the Shreyas. versus prayers. What is instant gratification? Most of the time, people are sucked into the instant gratification, right? So, pause and reflection, not just reacting right away. The deep breathing helps you not to react right away, right? And the fourth one is, are you in touch with what is happening here and now? Or are you lost in the persistent thought, either for the past regrets or future anxieties? You don't perceive anything because you want to see everything through the lens of your experiences, your understandings in the past. You are so never looking at things as it is. That is perception. Thought based on data is good for the external things, but not for your inner happiness, bliss, and all that. So if you see what is without the data, without distortion, that is perception. Okay. So the essence here is the present is a gift and live it fully. Okay. I did a talk on this too. Are you continuously caught up in that, or are you able to live fully? So I titled the talk as "Live Fully, Not in Caught Up in the Thought, endless chatter." Okay, if you don't have the endless chatter, you are living in the present. That's the fourth one. The fifth one is, we lose the touch of our inner grace or divinity. Remember what the ancients pointed out? Vivekananda also said, see, we feel small and lost and powerless in this vast, uncertain world. But the Vedanta or ancient wisdom say, you are not small, you are the infinite self. Okay, infinite self, right? That is where the life force that is within everybody. Okay, so it's always there with us. That is the Satchitanand. They talked about peace, bliss, and happiness are already within us. But people are looking for some kind of advancement, some kind of achievement, some kind of accumulation, some kind of validation. So they are really not uncovering the gift they have within. See, so peace, bliss, and happiness are already within us. Then you could stay off the social media for a while, not all the time, but for a while, like in the morning and in the evening, and cultivate this inner looking for the inner divinity. So what do you think of that, Prasad?
I'm with you on all counts, Dr. Rao. This is very important in everybody's life nowadays, both youth, of course, kids included, and adults. So we have to keep ourselves out of this clutter and seek help of experts like yourself, so that we could have a meaningful approach towards not only dealing with the technology, but also with our own behaviors, and of course other things included, to avoid all the distractions around us through social media nowadays.
Yeah, I'm not against the technology, but how we use it, okay? How we can make it an ally rather than really harming us, okay? This kind of, habituation to social media, and then really losing personal touch with people. Like I'm doing this on the social media, right? But I'm relating with my friends and my people who wants to hear to me, just pointing out people are stressing out, burning out, developing anxieties, depressions, and suicidal tendencies, so many things that they are doing because what this media is having an effect on your mind. That people are not really able to understand and also use it but not to be influenced by it in a negative way. I do that, you see, because I do come and talk to people on these rooms, thereby I relate to them. Uh, People say that I help them by giving clarity, by making them think about these things and all that, right? So there is something else I was talking about the other day. Is how is the technology and the nature balance? How does that happen? How can we achieve that? That is something of a favorite topic of mine. Telling people, see, let technology flow, let nature hold us steady. That's the combination, and let the wisdom guide our way forward. This is my mission. Okay. I will use the informatics, I will use I will use this internet and social media, but I stay in the nature, both outward connection with the nature and also my inward nature. Inward nature is not thinking, it is the awareness. Okay. In awareness, thoughts come and happen. Fine, use them, but don't let the thoughts take over. That's the mistake people do, because they allow the thoughts take root in their mind as samskaras, ingrained thoughts, and those thoughts come in a cyclical way. That cyclical way you can break if you are conscious about what you are thinking. Then you will be doing only what is needed. Does that make sense? Now, do you?
Yes, of course.
But do you do that? Do you?
It requires more conscious effort, restraint. We have everything in surplus these days, but what requires from us is how much we can restrain from the limitless access that we have.
Yeah, but it's again outwardly we have limitless things. Inwardly we have limitless thoughts. So we're talking about those thoughts can be. How can they be controlled or limited or put in a direction? Is my way of is this: what is the purpose of my life? Okay, that is the one that I was really impressed by the ancient sages and rishis and yogis. The purpose of human life is to really understand our own intelligence, which is not influenced by the data and the conditionings and all that, and then turn inward and touch that inner grace or inner divinity we all have. Okay, and that is the being of ours, right? It's not about our intellectual clarity or intellectual prophecy or intellectual excellence or erudition or being shrewd about thinking and all. That's not it. It's about the inner experience of our divinity when our mind is not chattering. Purposeful thinking, focused thinking, that's all okay. But then you also learn how to end it. If you allow the thinking to be unconscious all the time, then that becomes the cyclical thinking. Same thoughts coming and going, same thoughts coming and going, right? So you form a loop, and that loop is the neurological pathway in the mind as the ingrained thoughts. For example, if I look at Prasad and I say, oh, Prasad is so and so, but I have an argument with him, for example. Of course, we didn't have, but suppose I have an argument and I take an opinion on him based on that argument, because my opinion, his opinion. See what it is? My ego, his ego are clashing. And then we have a difference of opinion, and then take a conclusion on that. And the next time I see Prasad, I come with that opinion, not with what he is right now. You understand? This is the value of being conscious in your thinking. So that's what I do. My purpose is to turn inward and realize who I am. And that gives me focus or really organize my thoughts towards that activity, so that I don't have to be outward all the time. I will do the things that I need to do. Suppose I want to make a living, I want to produce something, I want to, all that is fine. But inwardly, I am quiet and silent. And that is the bliss. And your mind is not constantly, but what is happening is many people allow their thoughts to go on, and then social media is kind of aggravating it with more stimuli, more data, more. So, what is if you are clear about where you are going, if you are clear about how you want to organize your mind, you won't allow all these things that are unnecessary for you just because the picture is there, and that means you are yielding to the external source of information just like that because you don't have any particular way to go about your task, right? So this is in their control, but we don't really do that. Okay, so use the technology, let that flow, but have a steadiness inside, because you are in the nature of yourself and the nature outside you're connected. Then you won't be pulled to each other direction like that. Let that wisdom guide you way forward, not the data only. That is the mission we should be having. Okay, and then I kind of share my path toward a flourishing world, but at the same time, I don't want the technology to dominate. You see, I consider myself, my role is to be a bridge between science and spirituality, between innovation and intuition, outer progress and inner peace. All my talks are oriented towards the inner peace. It's already there. You cannot be peaceful. You are peace itself. You cannot be happy just by doing something. You are already happy, blissful. Okay? If you are not in your real self and you are in the chattering mind, then you want mindfulness, meditation, and all that. But if you are already in that awareness, not in thought, but in awareness, alertness, right in this moment, what happens? You don't need to meditate. That's what I was telling all the time. I don't deliberately meditate, but I am in a state of meditative awareness. No big deal. That is the fundamental thing. But then we think something else. That's why we go all over. Is that clear, Prasad?
Yes. While you are describing all these things, I just remember one thing that I heard Garikappa Narasimha Garu told recently. He's talking about Santrupti. This is what I'm feeling, when you are repeating, when you are revealing all these facts.
Yeah, that is the Saucha, Santosha, one of the first 10 principles of the yoga, Yama Niyama, Santosha. Santosha means contentment, not because something else coming from outside, but because I am in touch with my abundance within. Okay, this is the inner knowing, inner self-knowledge, and all that, So when you have that, then you will have satisfaction already there, already flourishing, But the people are made to believe that you don't have these inner riches, and that's why they are always going after so many practices. I remember Ramana Maharshi was saying one time, the pristine conscious being is so close to us, so easy for us to really realize. You just don't have to have a lot of knowledge. You just keep your mind shut, and then you will be in touch with it. And he said, for this, we have so many religions, so many creeds, so many faiths, so many psychologies, philosophies, and all that. Alas, what a pity. He actually says this, what a pity that people are engaged in so many things to touch with already something already within us. That they call self-realization. That they call, you got to calm your mind. The whole yoga is what? yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Tada drashtu swarupe avasthan. If you calm your superficial mind, then your inner self will automatically show itself like a self-luminous sun. The clouds that are covering the sun will not come to be, sun to be seen by us. But once the clouds gone, he's always self-luminous. It's not that he's self-luminous to become after the clouds, but the clouds are only covering it. Once he's gone, the sun is always self-luminous. That kind of life force is within us, and because of that, we have this life. But the intelligence is to understand where we have become continuous chatter, or where we are living in that calm, serene awareness, which is thoughtless but aware, alert, awake. So I was always wondering about this technology, and how is this technology is really a vision. You see, you can have a vision that arises from the heart of both modern innovation and ancient wisdom. Technology, nature, and timeless teachings about the truth, either the modern or the ancient. All these three, the technology, nature, and the timeless teaching, they are not separate. Together, they can restore balance to our lives and to our world. That's what I'm trying to get it, So my understanding is that tech exploration is like a great river of innovation. Powerful, transformative, unstoppable. That's why I'm spending a lot of time these days about artificial intelligence. I discovered so many things I would not have if I weren't focused on that, right? Why am I doing it? Am I doing it to make $1 billion? No. I'm doing it to understand it, to apply in my life, but also use it to reach out and share and help and really be a part of the other people's life, which is happening much better when I'm applying these technologies without losing my base of the ancient wisdom and the nature, my connection with the nature. So the tech explosion is like a great river of innovation, powerful, transformative, and unstoppable, right? But when we detached from nature and forgot to observe the ancient wisdom, we are drifting into imbalance. See, this imbalance is bringing about anxiety, burnout, distraction, and a restless hunger for meaning. See, people made a lot of money. People have a lot of accumulations. People have achieved so many things, but they are not happy because they are empty inside. They don't have meaning for their life. Okay? So, see, tech without nature leaves us ungrounded. Tech without the wisdom I'm talking about makes us reactive but not reflective. But when nature and the wisdom are present, technology becomes a true servant of well-being. I can write books, I can do talks, I can relate to people. Sharmi talks to me about some things, Prasad talks to me something. I'm more than happy to talk to them. That's why they also said, spend time with people who are exploring the truth in any matter. That they call satsang. They gather together not to get information, even about the wisdom and all that. They gather together to have a place where they're all engaged in exploring truth of life, of any particular aspect of anything, not propaganda, but each person engaged in the exploration of the truth. That's why spending time with people who are satsang, they said, you have to have association with people who are engaged in the exploration of truth. not asserting, I know this is why this is correct, you have to really do this, that means ego asserting itself and then influencing other people because it wants validation. No, what you want to do is you want to really understand your own ego and transcend that by understanding what is behind the ego, who you really are, and then come from that base, from that understanding. Okay, so it's a question of understanding all that, right? I'm going to do another major on the technology and nature and wisdom. I have prepared a big talk about that. I will do it on the Zoom next time. Okay, but you can say it's the tech nature wisdom balance. That's what the title would be. So you can look up for that. Okay, but basically, what is happening is we are exploring the technology, social media also, but we are forgetting about nature. So some people get so agitated with all this mind continuously working. Then I tell them, go and establish a relationship with your nature. And to a person so far, whoever did even a little bit of just going and sitting under the tree, that kind of made them feel like they're connected back to the nature. There is a nature outside, and there is a nature of him, divinity within you. Get in touch with both of them. Ancient wisdom about inner wisdom, inner quietude, serenity, mind clarity. If you don't understand and bring it in your life, then you are subjecting yourself to rattling of the mind, chatter of the mind, and that mechanical mind like that is going to fail, is going to, anything mechanical. If you use too much, it will rot, right? So then we have to put some oil or something just to say the friction is not there like that. So it's very important connecting with the nature and also connecting our inner nature of divinity. See, tech boom is okay, but distancing from the nature is a mistake. Along with that, we did not observe or implement ancient wisdom. That's my way of looking at this. What do you say?
Yeah, that's the way to look at these things that you just described. So I also run, close to your views. So it's easy for me to observe what exactly you mean and take a leaf from your wisdom and follow it up closely. Thank you.
One of the statements that Krishnamurti made a lot of difference for me was, you may understand this, you may state this, but are you living it? What it made me in 1980s was to really live those principles. You can tell other people, you can say all that, but then think, ultimately it comes to me, am I living it? Ask yourself the same question. If you are living it, well and good. If you are not living it, live it, understand it, explore it. Don't accept anything, but explore it. Get the truth of it, and then bring it to your life. So one statement that really makes me come back to the life is, Ramana Maharshi said, one's attention has always to be poised on one's inner self, inner Satchit Anand, inner Atman, or whatever name you give, okay? That energy, that life force. Like in the Star Wars, Luke says, force be with you, Luke, but force is already with you. So that is actually, Star Wars is based on Advaita Vedanta of Indian philosophy, and the force is the Brahman. That Brahman stays is our life force that is within all of us. So we are Brahman. I am that. Tattvamasi. All these things are really connected very easily. And then your attention has to be focused on your inner self, inner Brahma. That is Brahma Vidya, education of the universal force that is within us as eternal. Even after our death, our bodies might go, but that indweller, that inner force is always going to be there. So that is the essence of Bhagavad Gita on the death and dying. And a lot of people think we are going to be here for permanent, right? And then they waste a lot of time, they regret afterwards, but they don't really live it. That's what I'm saying. There's a question for me from Krishnamurti, 1980s, when I was listening to him. He said, are you acting from the data, from whatever that you have conditioning from your own learnings, your own upbringing or education, or are you looking at everything with a fresh eyes, with a perception, not with thinking? Remarkable, right? Then that itself emptied the mind. That itself is the meditative state where you are emptying the mind. You don't even allow the mind to be accumulating these conclusions, judgments, and all that. And if you allow them, if you are unconscious about it, they form the samskaras, ingrained thoughts. And they go on, take their own life, and they will be embedded within you, impregnated within you, concretized within you, and they will come back again and again. So how much time do you spend emptying the mind? There are two ways. One way is to do as you go along. That's what I do. Movement to movement awareness means whatever that happened after the movement is really emptied. Okay? You don't cling on to it. That's all. You don't have to make a special effort about taking it out. Just don't cling on to it. Live each moment fully. Okay? So, anybody else want to say anything? You can come up and I'll be happy to engage with you. See the 5 principles, do you remember them? I will repeat that again for the people who joined late, So I was reviewing the effect of social media on our minds. And I was comparing this to ancient minds, ancient life where people are quiet inside and people valued that, and people have non-neurotic nature. But the current atmosphere in social media is about really doing. See, they were kind of quiet because they had a very simple outward life. So, having a very engaging or enjoying a lot of things is called rati. There's a quality in spirituality is uparati. That means you don't want to spend your time in entertaining yourself or enjoying food and everything, more like an enjoyment, not like a requirement, So all that indulgence in life's pleasures is called rati. Okay? And the quality to really have, to realize our inner peace is uparati is one of the qualities. Okay? So if you have that uparati, then you are not engaged with the outward life that much, because you realize the bliss and the serenity and the peace that you have by turning inward is 100-fold. Unfortunately, many people don't realize that because they are stuck in the mind status, in the thought status, in the memory status, in the future projection status. But that is all only thought projecting. But when you really calm that down, human intelligence that is really within us as indweller, as the divine force, will come out. Ancient systems are all about that bliss, that kind of ecstasy that you get from completely turning off the mind, right? So when the ancients had this way of looking at silence and turning inward, when they were reflecting and perceiving things as they are, they discovered the grace within. That's what I'm talking about. Number one was silence in the middle of the all this chat. Social media, somebody defined, is nothing but more like a global gossip. It could be an information source to particular things that you want to do in life. That's great. Then people do the business, people exchange information regarding that, and they are very happy that social media is working. Facebook is, when it completely went down one time, many businesses suffered. They discovered how much they are using social media for their business. But if you want to post what you're eating, each plate you're eating, and you want to post somebody else's life, something happened, there's nothing but global gossip. And allowing all that gossip go into our mind and rest there. It could be movies, it could be some weather events, it could be anything. All those things will be there. Some are good, like if you want economic news, you want weather news, and you're using it for your family's finances or going vacation, whatever, or understanding how the weather is changing, how can it change, all that is good. But if they are not oriented to human welfare, just like that, curiosity like that without any purpose, that becomes global gossip. Are you engaged in global gossip or are you engaged in meaningful activities? Up to you to find out. Second thing is turning inward. If you know how to turn inward and really look at what's going on within you, you can observe your thoughts. You can slow them down. You can go beyond the thought faculty into your awareness and settle down there. The third one is, are you reflecting or reacting? Mostly people react right away. But are you reflecting? Are you taking some time to take a pause, take a deep breath, and look at things with a fresh perspective? Not with your prejudices, not with your opinions, not with your conclusions or conditioning. No. Can you look at anything fresh? That means you are not looking with the data, but you are looking at it as it is. A flower that is there, the chrysanthemum, if you say the chrysanthemum, you are not really seeing the flower. You are seeing the image that you created within you. So look at the flower as it is, as it in its glorious flowering gives you fragrance, gives you beauty, gives you treat to your eyes. But if your mind is occupied with a lot of things, you will not see that flower as it is. That is perception. Are you perceiving anything, especially the people? Or are you seeing them through the lens of your opinion? Find out. Okay. And the fifth one is, so we have the silence, we have the turning inward, we have the reflection, and we have the perceiving. And the last one is identifying with our inner energy, our inner self. That's what I was always brought to. Attention has always to be poised on one's inner self. Ramana Maharshi, right? Remembering that, I don't settle down in thinking. I may use the thinking to communicate with you, to generate the language, to share with you what I feel about social media, how it is harming us by getting us into that turmoil of the thoughts all the time. Versus some people pay a price. Some people really don't feel good because the information overload, constant thinking, constant chattering, constant reaction. And so their brains are burnt out, right? So then they have all the problems doing the regular things, enjoying things, and complication from not doing things, or getting fired from the job, things like that, right? So always think about that inner grace and settle down in that. To touch that, you got to learn how to stop the chatter. Okay, if you have that, then all you have to do is stop the chatter. Then you go transcended. Your busyness is gone. Then you are enjoying as a human being. That is the beauty of being a human, having this intelligence within each one of us and touching that intelligence. I would say many people, if I really ask them, are you awakened your intelligence? They would say they don't understand it. They only understand the mind chattering, chattering, chattering. Okay? So there is a beauty in that. There is a blessing in that. There is a bliss in that. Okay? Awaken your intelligence. That is beyond mere facts, mere data, mere chatter. Okay? That intelligence, once you embark on that, it will show you clarity, it will show you the path forward. Okay? Hopefully, you will use social media, but you also understand how social media is made against us by our own minds and how we can control that mind chatter and be peaceful. Okay? So, this is a vast topic. This is not like a simple thing that you understand one day and then later on you say, okay, I can do this. You got to be very attentive to what is happening within you. You want to be very, very not judging yourself, not saying, oh, I'm thinking too much, I'm bad. No, not that. Western mind is stuck in that mind only. I always tell you people. And then that has spread to Eastern too now. So the whole world is kind of stuck in the mind. But the few blessed souls are lucky people. They kind of see the difference and then they come out of that and use the mind layer, but not stuck in that mind layer. See, ancient described human personality as Panchakosha. That is 5 layers of body. The first layer is our physical body, right? Our physical body is like kind of bones and meat and blood and all that, dhatus, tissues and all that, right? That body is inert, but that is animated by our life force. And that is the one you want to get in touch with. But you are only in the touch of one function of it, which is the mind, which is the thought layer, emotional layer. No. So, second layer is energy layer, pranamaya kosha, where you have this energy either up and down, flat or exaggerated. But how can you have a balance in that energy? How can you use it properly? How can you elevate it without really doing anything except understanding it and doing things that do not elevate it, you know? So once you understand that, and you can stop those things that are depleting your energy. One of the biggest depleter is constant thinking. Thinking takes a lot of energy out of you. And also, after you say something, you don't want to leave it. You want to hold on to it. That's where the cyclical thinking is born. That's why you want to be aware, not only a particular time of the day, but moment to moment. Being in awareness, not in thought mode. Third layer is the manomaya kosha. That is where the thoughts happen. That's where thoughts are generated. That's where thoughts are retained. Thoughts are clung to. That is the layer people are stuck into. I have not seen anybody who is not stuck there in the social media platform. Maybe they have not showed me, but then I have not seen that. And then fourth layer is Vijnanamaya Kosha. That is where your understandings, your base relationship with the life, with the components of life. And then finally, the Anandamaya Kosha. So that is the one where you have bliss and happiness and all that. But even this is outside your inner core. These 5 layers are surrounding the inner core. That inner core is the divine self. Not only one divinity, everybody is in that. That's where we are, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. But also that being is apart from your intellectual prowess, emotional volatility, or your conclusions from the life, and then your way of learning is from what you know rather than what you don't know. Ancient said, I don't know, so I'm going to go and find it. Bring your mind to that level where I don't know, let me find out. Then you will explore inward, and then you will get in touch with already there. That's why it's called self-realization. Atma Sakshatkar. That means you are really witnessing your inner divinity by calming your mind down. And that is the privilege of human being. Okay? Okay, this can go into pretty depths. I don't want to really just talk about it. And I want you to really see anybody is doing it. Anybody really understand it and they have some doubts from it. If you have, come up and ask me before I close the door. Another 5 minutes I'll be here. If anybody wants to come and talk to me, you are more than welcome. On the Mumbai, there are 40 people, and they can come up and talk to me about it. It doesn't have to be a perfection. The thing is, when we talk about, oh, I'm just being human, we talk about our weaknesses, our frailties, our liabilities. Oh, I can feel down as a human. Oh, I can feel helpless. I can be vulnerable. All these you are talking about the poor side of the human, but actually there is a rich side of the human being. That's what I want to focus. You can have a mind that is focused and stable. You can have a heart that is expanded and reaching out to people, and you can give a lot from that heart, and you can realize this Sat Chit Anand. You can realize this blissful self. You can realize this ecstasy. Unfortunately, people are not brought into this through education, through culture, through exchange. So that's why people are missing out on something extraordinary, ecstasy that is within us. Not imagined, it is there. Get out of its way, let it come out like a self-luminous sun. It will come out. Okay? In this way, Ramana Maharshi said something beautiful about, I kind of framed it in my basement in my yoga studio. It reads like, the thoughts change. Any thought, however long it can come, they can change. So the first line says, the thoughts change, but not you. You meaning the inner self. You meaning the inner divinity, inner grace. Let go the passing thoughts and hold on to the unchanging self. That's the second line. Third line is, the thoughts form your bondage. If they are given up, there is release. So it is the thoughts that create the bondage for you. Give them up. The next line goes on like this. You need not cease thinking. Only think of the root of the thoughts. Where are they coming from? Seek it, the root of the thoughts, and find it. The self shines by itself. It's called avarana. covering of the thoughts, but the inner self is covered by this constant activity, constant chatter. When that is found, when the self shining by itself found, the thoughts cease of their own record. That is freedom from bondage. Okay? So that's a great thing that I put it in my basement because I value that so much. Okay. I think we're almost 1 hour here, from 9 o'clock.
Excellent learning, Dr. Rao, today for all of us. Thank you so much for your valuable time and energy in sharing all these things to us.
Yeah.
And I'm in India. And, I'm going with a happy note that I learned so many things. Of course,
See, that is the tragedy of modern India too. They kind of aping all this modern way of exterior things and accumulations, not realizing the great learnings and teachings of the ancient India. But that is there in every religion, so every country, and the people are turning away from that invaluable inner source to the outward. So my job is to act as a bridge between the two.
Yes, you're on the spot. I couldn't agree more than that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I will take leave now, and I will see you all later on. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye for now. Bye-bye.